Welcome back, my friends. I want to say thank you to the people who have subscribed, commented, liked, all of that. I want to answer all of your comments if I can as we go along. And we are at part 3 of the Chris Watts footage. We are at the part where the police officer and the detective have entered Chris's house and want to investigate further. Now he is letting them inside of the girls' Jack and Jill bathroom, which is a bathroom that connects to 2 different rooms. So let's go ahead and get right into this.
They wake up, they'll just go right here and just play in the bathtub. Yeah.
Well, that's private.
So you normally, so you normally keep it locked? Yeah, because they would go in there, they'd be in the soap. Like last time we had Vaseline everywhere. So that was not fun.
Oh, okay, so we just noticed that Chris said, like last time they would. He's speaking about his daughters, and he said last time they would go into the bathroom and there was Vaseline everywhere. So would is a word that is a past tense word that we use in English. That means that it already happened. And it doesn't mean that it still continues to happen. So basically, murderers and people who are guilty do this a lot. They'll use words in past tense and they'll give themselves away in that way, because would is not the same as will. So there is an insinuation there in his words, because if they were still alive and everything was okay with them, and he was just a man who was looking for his children and wife and didn't have any idea where they were and he's innocent, then he would have used the word they will go into the bathroom and get the Vaseline out.
So does she normally make the beds, the kids' beds? No. No. This all looks normal to you. Does it look like this? Maybe in a rush, or this is about normal. Like when kids, they'll get up first. Get up. Yeah, they'll just kind of like look around. Sure. Just go get her. Sure. Okay. All right. No, we don't wake up till they wake up.
Now, right there, as Chris was explaining, how they wake up in the household, and how they start their morning or whatever he was explaining, he started to bring his arms up and kind of do the throwing his arms against his pants and bringing his arms up to show around what's around the room. And to me, that means, well, I guess there's nothing here. You see what's here in the room. Nothing to look at here. Next, slapping the hands on the pants and moving the arms around the room.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Do you mind if I keep this? You can try to go through it. You got to do. Maybe I can find some other names or whatever on Facebook list that people may not know about. I mean, to be right off the search.
So that look that Chris is giving the detective right now, Chris's body is sort of leaning towards one side. He's got his arms on his hips. He's got his head cocked to the side, and he's looking at the detective. That is a sort of look to say, what's next? I'm showing you my house for the second time. You see, there's nothing here. Well, I wonder what you're going to do next. And he knows that whatever is going to happen next is not good for him. What else would you like to see? I mean, that's what that look is. That's what that leaning to the side is. Because he knows that there can't be, and he also knows that there can't be too much evidence in the house, right? Because he didn't murder his wife and children in a way that would leave a lot of evidence, like let's say a stabbing or a shooting would. He knows that, he smothered them and he choked them, so that's why he probably feels comfortable with them being in his house and taking a look around, because he knows there might not be too much evidence to the naked eye.
911, who is that me for?
See that nervous looking at the police officer with the walkie-talkie?
Advised.
He gets very nervous when the officer's on his walkie-talkie. They're talking about Facebook and how Shanann had lots of pictures on there. The officer's standing there with one arm across his chest, one arm to his face, because he's taking a look around and he's suspicious.
Hello? Alright. Right.
And that is Shanann's mom, Sandra, on the phone with the officer again.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how many of you guys can hear Sandra over the phone, but she just said that she called someone or called a few people to kind of get an idea of where her daughter might be.
This is her purse?
That's her purse. It's her medication. She takes these, her medication's still in here.
Nikki is suffering with a lot of anxiety, with the hands on her face like that and rubbing her face. She's very anxious because she knows that the everything's been going wrong since the beginning of the day.
We're gonna get a hold of them. We're working on all that.
So Sandra just said that something has been on her mind all day and it's not normal. That's what Sandra said over the phone to the officer.
Understandable. Like I said, we're doing what we can to try to find her here.
So what I just heard Sandra say is that her own daughter and son are very worried for their sister Shanann, and I also I'm not sure if she said that her daughter and son or if she was talking about her daughter and son, and then she also said that she was very worried. And she's starting to speak about her grandchildren. And then she said, I love Chris very much, but I'm very worried. Okay? So let's see if we can hear anything else that Sandra says over the phone to this police officer. And if you guys hear anything that she says that I don't pick up, please leave it down in the comments section below. I want to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and Sandra also mentioned the fact that Chris and Shanann were arguing. And we do know that they had full-blown arguments. No matter if the neighbor, Nate, retracted his statement later on from, the statement that he gave saying that he can hear them arguing and that Chris gets really crazy when they argue. Doesn't matter if he retracted his statement, because whatever comes out the first time out of your mouth is usually the truth.
We do.
Sandra also said that she never wanted to think that her son-in-law would do something like that. I don't know if any of you guys caught her saying that over the phone. She's having dark.
It'll be either.
She's having dark thoughts about her son-in-law Chris, and she's saying that she doesn't want to think that he can do something like that. But she does have a lot of premonition and a lot of feelings about what's going on, because she is Shanann's mother and she is the grandmother of the grandchildren.
I would know about that.
We've got Chris with the defensive body language, the arms cross in front of his chest.
Possibly.
Trying to look concerned, trying his best, but being defensive with that body posture.
Yep.
He really is void of emotions. Especially during and right after the murder.
Yeah.
No,
The bed's not made, no. She got home with Nicole. He didn't say who.
Now, Sandra is telling the officer about when she called Chris and then Chris called her back, and Chris gave the story about Shanann being at a friend's house.
Too late, right?
Yeah, he said he did.
Chris is ready for everybody to leave his house and for this to be over with and for it to have went perfectly with his, so he could be with his in his magical fairy tale land with his Gorgon girlfriend.
We're gonna try.
He's texting the girlfriend right now.
All right. All right.
And Sandra just reiterated her point that Shanann would never behave in this manner and not answer calls back or, everything that's been going on. She's not that type of person to not answer anyone or not let anyone know what's going on. So nervous and sweating all over his face, that gremlin. Okay, and now Sandra's talking about how Shanann was with her daughter. That's what I hear her saying over the phone. She's basically letting this police officer know that something funny is going on here and something is completely not right. Shanann is not the type of person who likes to go MIA, missing in action.
Yep.
Sweat, too much sweat. Rocking back and forth, flushing of the white over the face. Their
We'll keep
cheeks
that in
are
mind.
red again.
All right, thanks. Bye.
Okay, now what? That was that look from Chris just now. Okay. Oh my gosh, what was she saying over the phone? Damn.
Did you tell your mother-in-law that she went to a friend's today?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? What friend?
So we went to a friend's house, so that's all I knew.
So, when Chris was giving his answer to the police officer just now, the police officer asked, "Did you tell your mother-in-law that Shanann went to a friend's house today?" And immediately after the police officer asked that, Chris looked up and to his left, which means that he is trying to recall a lie. He's trying to remember a lie that he told someone. And when you look up and to your right, it means that you're trying to recall facts. Okay? Keep that in mind.
So we went to a friend's house.
Let's look at it again.
Know that she went to a friend's today?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? What friend?
So we went to a friend's house, so that's all I knew.
Who was she supposed to go to?
That's all she told me. She said she's going to a friend's house to take the kids.
When did she tell you that?
This morning when we were talking to about 4 or 5 o'clock.
Looking to his left again when he just said that. Mouth closed, tight lips. Not going to say anything else. That's what that body language is. I don't want to give myself away. Tight lips. It's subconscious, looking up to your left or your right. It's a subconscious body movement.
What were you guys saying about red on the stairwell? I didn't.
Okay. So now with all the police officers training on the body language, training that he must have received in the police academy, now he's starting to suspect a murder. He's speaking to Nikki about a red dot that she may have seen on the stairwell. Okay, he's talking about blood. And it's because Chris Watts is such a dead giveaway with his body language and his behavior throughout this entire footage.
No. When I look pretty thoroughly everywhere and I'm not. Yeah, no, that's...
He's starting to think that it may be real plausible that Shanann and her children are
wax or
dead
something,
now.
it's not blood. I don't see any signs of a struggle. Nothing's broken.
What I don't understand
Right, and her purse and her wallet. I mean, the whole thing's.
So Nikki Atkinson just made a great point. If Shanann left the house, if she left the house through the garage, then we would have seen her on surveillance. She obviously didn't do that. We have established that with Nate's video and just with everything that's been going on. We've established that Shanann and the children did not leave through the garage. And if Shanann and the children left through the front door, then why is it that when Nikki Atkinson got to the house in the morning to look for her friend, the deadbolt was locked, which is the lock that is all the way up at the top of your door, and it is the last line of defense type of lock. It's the lock that the burglar can't get into. If he can get into every other lock, he won't be able to get into this one. And that's a lock that needs to be locked from the inside of a house. So if Shanann left with the children to the front door, who in the hell was in the inside of the house locking that deadbolt? That's why she never left the house on her own volition.
Those are the ones she normally wears. This is the suitcase she had yesterday.
The stuff she had last night. Yep. What's this? This is. That's just some Antarctica stuff. Is that your stuff? Yeah, that's some stuff I was going to give to people because they don't fit me anymore. Oh, these are your jeans? Yeah. It's like 38s. They're way too big now.
He's proud of that. He's proud that he did lose weight and he got into shape and he started taking care of himself, which was something that Shanann had him do, and he wasn't like that before, but he's proud of that now, and that's probably something that played into his affair.
Okay, well, give us a call or anybody if you hear anything from her. Otherwise, I'm going to start putting together just in case we need to pull the trigger for a missing person. Yeah, I'm going to try to run some things down using her phone and then see if we can't find somebody.
Very nervous, very sweaty.
Nobody's heard anything at all, then we'll probably pull the trigger a little bit quicker. Go that route, so.
His breathing's off, his eyes are wide.
As far as like walking through fields and stuff like that, I know. But you can do that now. If you guys want to start that, there's no reason you can do that right now. Okay. Absolutely. So the other things I'm going to do is a little more detailed as far as digging into friends and addresses and things like that. But by all means, if you want to call hospitals and hotels even, see if she's checked in anywhere, whatever. But all right, I'll start with the friends list of maybe friends either one of you know about.
Chris is just like, please get out of my house now. He is anxious for everyone to just get the hell out of my house now.
She has one of those numbers. I've got some of them. Okay.
Again, with the explaining something and bringing his arms up and slapping his pants, like, well, that's pretty much it. I mean, what else can I do? I mean, nothing here to see, again, with that. Because he knows that there can't be too much evidence in the house. It wasn't, it wasn't a gruesome crime scene, smothering and strangling someone. It's not going to be blood everywhere or anything. That probably was the reason why he wasn't so worried about letting the officers in his house in the first place. But he should have been. Now he knows he should have been, huh? He might have been better off lawyering up very quickly, lawyering up like a Scott Peterson or something.
What about bank account checking? checking into that. Do we need account numbers or anything, or have him call?
Yeah, find any credit cards. That's why I was asking about the credit cards if there are any missing. But none of yours are missing either.
Cash? She usually carry cash with her, or no? Still in there.
Slapping the wallet, or he's slapping the thing that's in his hand because he's like anxious. Come on, get out of my house now. Hurry up. This is taking so goddamn long.
Okay.
Detective's looking at him.
So I got your numbers. So I'll be in touch. Maybe one of us will be in touch. There's some things we have to do before we do this.
I have to get to my lover. Hurry up.
Is it good or bad that you know my son? I just
I know everyone.
Very,
Yeah.
that's a very delayed reaction smile that Chris had just now, and it was a forced smile because Nikki was trying to make light of this day for a moment and say something kind of lighthearted for a second, but the smile that we saw on Chris was very forced, and it was a very delayed reaction type of smile because he was still nervous, and then Nikki went ahead and said something to lighten up the mood, and because he's still nervous, that smile was very forced.
Good or bad?
Watch it again.
Is it good or bad that you know my son? I just have to ask.
I know everyone.
Comes with the job.
Yeah. Good or bad?
No, we're not about it. He's friendly.
Well, good or bad, I get to contact everyone eventually.
Okay. So if it does go missing person, we like set up like a command, I'm not sure like how that works. No, actually it's really not that. Okay. Yeah.
And Chris is asking that information. He's asking the detective right now, well, so now what's going to happen? Is this going to go into a missing persons case? You know, kind of what's the next step? He's asking that because he wants the information for himself to try to cover his tracks, or so that he will try to be one step ahead of what might happen next. But obviously he's a very unintelligent person. Okay, we know that.
It's really not like that. What it is in the computer system, so she pops up somewhere, and then on top, everybody looking around, asking around. So really what it is we're going to go back and do now will be part of that process, the missing persons process, is because we want to find out where she had the kiddo involved. Yeah. Too. So they definitely want to run that part of it.
Is this a pretty current picture?
No.
No?
I've got one.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Okay.
no Facebook is full of these.
Okay.
So that's where we're starting, and then like I said, we start calling around by all means, go for it. Anything you can think of. Even if it seems like no way, cover that way. And if you don't go covering any of those bases, then call. That part of it. Okay. So, I mean, I've seen people do some really weird things, especially when it's shattering bruises, and especially for women, it's a little hard. I'm not trying to make you feel guilty. It's just, it is what it is. Okay? It's just crazy things sometimes. And things are going to change dramatically in their lives.
So the detective just let Chris know that in a sort of way, he just let him know that, you know, we are looking at you. And crazy things do happen and weird things happen, but that's just how it is. So we just kind of have to look at you and have to look at everybody. That's what the detective was just kind of letting him know. And Chris still has that defensive body posture with his arms crossed against his chest, in front of his chest.
We'll see. We'll run it down. Thank you. Okay?
What? You knocked and we opened.
You want mom stuff?
We're gonna go get in the car so we can go home.
You really want to?
Uh-oh.
All right, everyone, we're going to stop the video here. Thank you for joining me for part 3 of the Chris Watts footage. I am so happy that you guys are watching and liking and commenting. Let me know if there was anything that you noticed that I didn't, and give me some feedback in the comments. I'm really enjoying the interaction with you guys. You know, there aren't very many crimes that I am interested in. You know, for example, I wasn't interested in the Scott Peterson case. You know, a lot of cases just don't pique my interest. This one did for many different reasons. I know that the John Benet Ramsey case piqued my interest. Who else? Let's see. I was very interested in the Jodi Arias case. I had some interest in Aisha Degree case. You know, there are just certain cases that we get sort of emotionally attached to. And I do want to continue to talk about the Chris Watts case, and I do want to continue to talk about this demonic gremlin, you know, as we go along, so that we can understand the psychology and the body language and the dead giveaways that go along with this case. I appreciate everyone's feedback, everyone's likes, comments. Please do continue to give me more of that. You can also check me out on Instagram, Crystal Canali. And like I always say, this footage comes from a YouTube user, and his name is True Crime Troy. So if you want to check out just the footage without my commentary or anyone else commenting, you can go ahead and go to his channel, look up his playlist or videos, and you'll see this Chris Watts footage in there. You'll be able to watch it for yourself. Thank you guys. And I want to leave a comment that it would have been better for Chris Watts to tie a chain and ball around his neck and throw himself in the ocean than to kill his wife and children. You should have done that first. Join me for part 4 next time, you guys, and I hope to hear from you. Thank you very much for watching.